before we get into the show today. Julian and I were texting about this last night, but Scott, did you see the news about the NYPD shutting down the tunnel in the Chabad synagogue in New York City?
I did.
That is just like I was like refreshed by the story. There's this one particular video of, and I do apologize if my terminology isn't quite right, but there is like an Orthodox Jewish gentleman wearing, like full regalia, like the hat and everything, just straight up crawling out of a sewer grate in New York City and then running down the road. It's wonderful.
As a Jewish man, I gotta say, you cannot at this time be Jewish and be crawling out of secret tunnels under New York City. It's just not a good. We need all of the good PR we can get right now. This is not helping.
We need all of our resources aimed at not climbing out of a sewer gate in New York City.
Yeah.
No, I'm like obsessed with like Chabad messianism now. Like I'm like, I think it's the new thing. Like my vague understanding of, because the question on my mind and everybody's mind seeing this story, other than just like the imagery of it, was just like, why are they building tunnels? And
sure,
the answer that it seems to be, based on, this is not like official info. This is just stuff I've gleaned from reading a bunch of like, random people's ideas of it, is that it has to do with this like particular like messianistic set of Chabad. They believe that the seventh rabbi of the Chabad Lubavitch dynasty is the Jewish Messiah. Yes. And I guess this rabbi Menahem Mendel Schneerson, like he had some sort of goal to expand the synagogue, both like literally and metaphorically. And I guess this particular sect sees it as their like tribute to him to like just physically expand the size of the synagogue. Hence the idea of like constructing it more underground. I don't know. It's really hard to wrap the mind around. It's wonderful.
I thought the tunnel was being like closed by the city because it was extremely unsafe or something.
I would assume so.
Or they didn't have like the rights to the property.
I would assume that that's why the NYPD had an interest in shutting it down. But it seems that the idea that it's like a tunnel, from all I can hear, is that it's not meant for like, it's not meant for going from place to place. It's meant to like expand the size of the synagogue.
It's just like literally like physically expanding it.
That's my guess. But then there's multiple factions. There's people within Chabad that are like saying that, these people are like young upstarts who did not get the blessing of the synagogue to do this. I mean, it seems very disrespectful to do to the synagogue. There's people within like Orthodox Judaism who do not condone this. It seems like a very small group within that already, like small minority. But it's just like, again, the imagery is just fantastic. There's this amazing video of like a cop with like a deep New York City accent telling a group of like Chabad men, like, that's not how you do it. That's not how we do it in America. And it's just like, it's just stranger than fiction. It was like a just truly invigorating news story for me last night.
That is wild.
I want in.
Who knows the expanse of the underneath of New York?
Right.
Yeah.
Remember, did you guys see that documentary Dark Days that came out in like, I don't know, 2001 or something?
Is it no? But is it about the mole
live
people
in underground New York? Yeah.
I read the book. I don't know if it's also called Dark Days, but I've read a book on the same subjects that a friend of mine lent me when I was in like high school. And people just be living down there.
Is 2024 the year of boys' Bible study, Chabad messianism?
Yes, absolutely is.
We've been Jehovah's Witnesses.
We've been Catholic conspiracy theorists. That was 2023. I believe that in 2024 we will be Messianic Orthodox Jews.
I like
And that's
it.
just how it has to go.
We're going to find out about a movie called Elijah's Other Secret.
There's got to be a movie about. Okay, here. IMDb, most popular movies and TV shows tagged with the keyword Messianic Judaism. And The Unexpected Bar Mitzvah. That looks very familiar. That's
a is that a Jason Campbell? Or no, that's a Gramps adjacent. Whatever that guy's
Chip
name is.
Rossetti.
Yeah,
Chip Rossetti.
It's in our list. It's in our
Well, we
queue.
should start off with that one.
Okay, so I found. Okay, here we go. The Sound of the Spirit. Beautiful and precocious Rivka is a 12-year-old Jewish girl who believes in Jesus. She and her father attend a Messianic Jewish congregation in their. Wait a second. This is like Jews for Jesus. I think this is.
Yeah, duh.
But Messianic Judaism. I mean, Chabad Messianism is different than Jews for Jesus.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, this is Chip Rossetti. It's going to be the Chip Rossetti way, or get the hell out of the way.
I was reading the description for this other one, The Sound of the Spirit. The Sound of the Spirit is number 1. Yeah. Number 2 is The Unexpected Bar Mitzvah. Neither of these seem to be Chabad Messianism, but number 3 is intriguing. It's called. It's a 2019 video short titled "The Real, Original, Only Authentic Messiah Has Arrived."
Okay, let's go. I love the idea of any film that will make it so when we title the podcast episode, it will not be completely viewable on a phone screen.
Yeah,
that like really appeals to me as a curator. So like I'm very intrigued to cover that one.
I cannot tell if this is parody or not, but it is written and directed and starring a man named Kenneth Ian Davis. And it says the storyline is over 100 plus million people globally know of me. I've been around over 51 years in this specific, quote, lifetime, in parentheses, quote, reincarnation. I was the very first and now am officially the very last, the real, original, only authentic Messiah, and then in parentheses and quotations, Mashiach.
Okay, I've seen that word going around in comments about the Hasidic tunnel system. I actually had to Google what that word was, and that's how I landed on this Wikipedia article about Chabad Messianism. Yeah, Chabad Messianism. They better clean up some of the dust from that tunnel down there.
Yep. You got that right.
that's what I got for you. Well, we did it, boys. We made it to the new year, which in the boys' Bible study lunar calendar also happens to be the exact same time that we began boys' Bible study. It was Christmas 2019 when we released our first episode, and we made a commitment to starting to put out regular episodes in January of 2020. And then a little known pandemic happened, which forced us back underground into the podcasting tunnels. And then we reemerged. And we've been going ever since. And it is now January 2024, making 4 years of Boys Bible Study. We're about to celebrate with a very special episode. But as always, welcome back to Boys Bible Study. Ash here with my co-hosts,
Scott
and Julian.
Yes, 4 laps around the fellowship hall. Shame we couldn't all be in the same room this time of year. Scott's living in North Carolina. Julian may or may not have the COVID-19 virus.
Yeah, well, some things have not changed. No matter how many years we do this.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, there's still a chance we may end up talking on Zoom with one or more of us possibly infected with COVID-19. But those are the breaks. I do enjoy when we can all spend the anniversary episodes in the same room with each other, but it's not always possible. That being said, we have quite a bit to celebrate, and as is our tradition on Boys Bible Study, we like to do a roundup of the previous year's episodes, movies, themes, favorites, and we conclude this special review episode with our very own award show. Hey, it is award season after all.
Thanks to climate change, award season is coming earlier and earlier every year.
Yes,
nice.
It's true. And yeah, you know what? Climate change ain't all bad. But we are throwing in, we're throwing down our own addition to the awards season. You've heard of the Golden Globes, but get ready for the Golden Calf Awards.
Yes.
That's right.
The 4th annual Golden Calf Award. This is I can't believe it is happening tonight. I'm out here. I'm out here on the Technicolor carpet. I see Joseph wearing his Technicolor dream coat.
Oh man.
Wow.
He's going to be voted best dressed at the Golden Calf Gala for the 4th year in a row.
Sure.
I'm thinking, yeah.
I'm so glad you didn't let COVID stop you from getting out there, Julian.
Don't say that too loud.
Yeah.
I may be asked to leave.
We'll see. And who's that coming from the east? It looks like, are those, how many magi do I see in your feed there, Julian? Is that 3 of them?
Oh my God. Count them. 1, 2, 3 magi, Larry, Mo, and Curly.
Yes,
Wow.
they have come. They followed the grouse in the sky that has alighted upon the Golden Calf Awards taking place in Bethlehem.
Did they ever do a skit where they pretend to be the Magi and go to find baby Shemp?
They had to have.
I bet they did. They thought of everything, those 3 Stooges.
If not, at least within the next 5 years, you'll be able to be like, type into Chat GPT, like, show me episode of 3 Stooges where they're the Magi and go to find baby Shemp.
And the whole thing will just be like presented to you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fully formed. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Uh-huh.
It would be awesome. You know, let's be honest here. There are some very thrilling technological advances on the horizon. And, you know, we've also, in the field of Christian film, of which we are experts and innovators, we've noticed some trends. You know, the new year really is about one of the things that it's about. It's talking about trends, things that come and go. You know, you're in one day, you're out the next. And it's kind of fun to look back on a year's worth of study of Christian films and talk about all the sort of themes we've encountered, either on purpose or by accident, all the different knowledge, pieces of knowledge we've gained along the way. So I think what we'll do, as usual, is we'll spend the first half of our discussion just kind of talking about the general arc of 2023 in Boys Bible Study. And, it'll come up in conversation, many of the films we watch. And then in the second half of this episode, we will pick our favorites. The 3 of us will be judge, jury, and executioner of the Golden Calf Awards. The glitz and glamour is coming very soon. But let's look back at what we covered in 2023. A big theme of this past year, and in fact, the way we started off our 2023 was talking about the rapture. Okay, we actually began our 2023 season by watching Left Behind 1, 2, and 3, the most essential Christian rapture movies. But there were many more than just Left Behind. And although rapture is a very popular theme in Christian films, we studied it hardcore in 2023.
Yeah,
we sure did.
The 3 of us, me and Ash together, and then Scott in North Carolina, went to see the Left Behind movie, the new Left Behind movie.
Yes.
With Kevin Sorbo and Mike Huckabee and Braden Sorbo, who's putting his dad's career in jeopardy right now.
Possibly.
He's being horny on Dad's main.
On Dad's main? There is a possibility that Braden, who we know to be helming Kevin's social media accounts, is is not covering the paper trail of him being a horny young man. This is just a theory we have.
Well, now that I'm remembering his role, or should I say lack thereof role, in Left Behind, Rise of the Antichrist, I could see why he might not care so much.
Right. Yeah, it was interesting because 2023 brought us a new Rapture film, a new film in the Left Behind franchise. But I mean, I remember the way that we all felt separately when we left the theater. Certainly me and Julian together. But I feel like Scott shared in this in some way. But it was like, I mean, it feels like every year we get closer to the end times, but every year our imagination about it as a culture gets worse and worse. Because that movie was pretty fucking bad.
Yeah. It was just depressing.
Yeah. It was nice that Mike Huckabee prays for you at the end, though.
Yeah.
That was one of the most surreal film going experiences I think I personally have ever been through, was sitting
Very
in a
strange.
packed theater with a fucking 25-foot tall Mike Huckabee leading us all in prayer.
I said, pinch me, I must be dreaming. But I wasn't. But yeah, I mean, what do we think? Do the Left Behind films deserve their reputation as the ultimate in Christian rapture pop fiction? I kind of think they do. I kind of think, although we watched many things, I don't know. There might be some other contenders, but what do you guys think? Is it deserving of its reputation?
There are some other contenders, but I do think it's deserving of his reputation. Those were a really big deal. That was the first time I heard about a Christian movie being made while it was in pre-production with the same excitement that like bigger Hollywood movies are. Was the first Left Behind movie. Mm-hmm. And I think that affected a lot of people. And although there were Rapture movies that came out before Left Behind, Christian made Rapture movies, no less. There's a lot more after the Left Behind movies.
There sure are. It was foundational to the genre and to, basically every Christian millennial. The Left Behind original books penetrated well into the culture, and their film adaptations were also major cultural events. And I feel like, when you talk Left Behind, you're referring to a bygone, but not that long ago era when Christian media had the potential for as much cultural penetration as any other mainstream movie. I mean, it's how far we've fallen with Left Behind, Rise of the Antichrist. Quality of the film aside, it's just like that release was barely a blip on the cultural radar compared to the weight that franchise once held.
Yeah, it was a bit of a bummer. But fortunately, we got to watch a bunch of other very exciting Rapture movies to get us back up.
Yeah, let's talk about some of the other Rapture films we watched this year. I mean, I was, earlier when I was saying how Left Behind was like the best Christian Rapture franchise ever made. I do think that's true, but what actually made me stop myself halfway through that sentence was thinking about the 70s series of films that began with A Thief in the Night, the Donald W. Thompson film, because we've learned from doing this podcast that other than Left Behind, that film is like the Christian film that everybody knows. So it also made quite an impact several decades ago.
Yes, that did make a huge impact. And I was very glad that we had Wormy on with us for that one. It was his idea for us to finally cover that, and it was a great idea. He's a bit of a Catholic, and he knows more about like history of Christianity, and not just like how I'm feeling right now, which is more of the kind of Christianity that I'm familiar with.
Yes.
And gave us some good information about how people started celebrating the idea of the rapture and when that began not so long ago.
The contemporary idea of the rapture is just that, contemporary. And it's kind of hard to imagine, mainstream Christian pop theology without it. But it is not it is not an eternal concept. It is something that is a relatively recent invention in the scheme of Christianity.
Another movie that we ultimately discovered because of Wormy was Elijah's Secret, which was some other had some Catholic nuance to it itself, and was the first like kind of conspiracy movie we saw of the year. I mean, you could say like Rapture movies are in general, but that was the first time we had heard this big Catholic conspiracy. It's in Elijah's Secret.
Yeah.
And I feel like that really somehow tipped off us talking about Catholic conspiracies for the rest of 2023.
Oh my God. Yeah, that was a paradigm shift in our podcast. And yeah, we have to definitely credit our internet friend Wormy for putting us onto this genre. But I mean, Elijah's Secret, which spoiler alert, is going to be coming up in our Golden Calf Awards at the end of the program quite a bit because it really impressed us this year. Yeah, Elijah's Secret is a very, very strange contemporary American film that is in a genre that we began to cover in depth of, Protestant movies about the Catholic conspiracy at the heart of the world that is trying to upset the balance of godliness in Protestant churches.
They were involved with both world wars, the Holocaust. They founded organizations like the Ku Klux Klan, the Illuminati. They were even behind the Lincoln assassination.
And believe it or not, we had a ton of material that fit into this, and it introduced us to a lot of new concepts that we became our personal canon.
It just kept coming up. We weren't even trying for a lot of it.
Yeah. Also, I feel like literally every single time I see Julian, which is quite frequently, he makes a reference to the anti-pope.
Hey, fair enough. It's concerning. Disconcerting.
Yeah. More people need to be talking about this. I don't know why this isn't in the news every day.
Yeah.
Seriously.
We need an anti-pope tracker like the NORAD Santa tracker.
Yeah. Okay. This is one of like Wormy's something he mentioned as like a personal cause of his, which I completely understand. And although unfortunately we've like totally played into this as a podcast here, is that, there really is quite a lot of anti-Catholic sentiment in the mainstream. Even though, we live in an era of like, unprecedented freedom of expression, even though there's certainly not perfect. It kind of feels like, you look back at like how early presidential elections, there were like literally anti-Catholic candidates. That was like a political party.
Yeah.
And obviously compared to now, I mean, Biden is a Catholic president. Kennedy was the first, but it seems hard to imagine that, there might be a wave of anti-Catholic sentiment that still permeates the culture. That being said, I mean, as a Protestant myself, there is something, if you don't understand Catholicism, that feels very alien or very alienating about it. Just like it has these like layers of tradition and mysticism that are so different from Protestantism that it's a little weird at first,
Yeah, it's like a more defined, visible structure of hierarchy. Whereas in the church, there's more made up, like, we're all friends here, even though it's like usually not like that.
This is literally the first I've heard that Joe Biden is Catholic.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
I did not know that.
How does this affect your perception of him?
He's got my vote.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, what if Biden is a Catholic, but he doesn't know that his vice president, Kamala Harris, is actually a Jesuit who has infiltrated the ranks of the White House to do untold damage.
That's a good point, actually. Are there no Jesuits allowed in the White House right now?
I don't
Just
know.
to be safe.
I don't know. This is not something that the MSM has talked about, but I think it would probably be better for all of us. The main conceit of this film, Elijah's Secret, that we watched is that, the Pope, the present Pope is illegitimate. And there is a cabal of like Jesuit priests that disguise themselves as Protestant, preachers, infiltrate Protestant churches to try to intentionally teach people like the incorrect way to worship God. And this is like a force that is at work that has to be combated. And so it's just you start to wonder. I mean, similar to how I felt about like watching, like Chabad messianists like dig tunnels under a synagogue in New York City. Like you see the evidence of this and you're just like, where is this coming from? And then you kind of like interrogate it and take steps back and realize like, I feel like this originates at the like misunderstanding and mistrust of Catholic traditions by Protestants. And then it's like the forming of this very intensive like worldview around it that balloons into this like, incredible legend.
I don't know. Might be the truth is out there,
Or some legends are based in truth.
Is it so much of a leap? Literally, the next movie we covered after Elijah's Secret was Leap. And then I forget if it was in Leap or Leap Rise of the Beast. They were like basically alluding to the same conspiracy again.
Vatican City signed the new religion into effect today. They're accepting of everyone. They're even allowing gays and women to preach to the congregations.
I mean, would it really surprise you to think that like an organization with that as much money as they have, that they wouldn't be able to, pay some spin doctors to make you think like, oh yeah, it's all made up. It's all made up about us.
I mean, it is true that the Vatican has a lot of, political power, money, all of these things.
Secret tunnels.
Possibly.
Anti-popes.
And also just this tradition of sort of like symbols and mysticism and luxury. It's very Masonic in a way at glance if you don't understand what's going on. So no, I mean these questions, it's hard not to entertain them. And the movies are extremely entertaining. But yeah, I mean, Leap, Rise of the Beast. If I had to pick one movie we watched of the whole last year, should just lead with like, if someone were to ask me like, oh, Boys Bible Study, that's interesting. Like, what kind of films do you cover on the show? I would say, well, we recently watched this film called Leap, Rise of the Beast, which is a teen Christian parkour action movie about how the Catholic Church is evil and trying to infiltrate Protestant congregations. Like, that is pretty much the best individual selling point, I think, of any of the films we watched this entire year.
And if they're making a weird face, you just flip and you're like, oh, I meant I have a wholesome Catholic movie to tell you about. You should watch A Brand New Kitchen.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, we didn't. We like to see both sides of the issue here on Boys Bible Study. So we certainly didn't only cover anti-Catholic films this year. Really quick, before we mentioned A Brand New Kitchen, I do want to bring up that Leap director Chris Tempel, I believe, is Seventh-day Adventist, which is like another branch of Christianity we should really try to explore more this year. That's in our New Year's resolutions. Okay, watch the Chabad Messianistic films, and let's get some more Seventh-day Adventists in there, because
there we go.
I know I don't know much about the Adventists, but I know that like wasn't one of Chris Tempel's things that like people intentionally misquoted the Bible to say that Sunday was the day of rest when it should be Saturday.
Oh, that could be. I could see
like
that.
the idea of people going to church and resting on Sundays is in itself a cultural perversion. And like many people are going to hell because they're not doing it correctly. I might have not fully gotten the idea, but that is like something I remember from investigating Chris Tempel's work.
And isn't Ben Carson a Seventh-day Adventist? You should see if he's on Letterboxd to see what he's watching.
I don't remember that about him. Mr. Gifted Hands himself.
Mm-hmm.
Were those gifted hands a result of the Seventh-day Adventist spiritual tradition. It could be. But yeah, we absolutely need to understand them more. I want to see if they have more media. I mean, Chris Tempel is like a young guy, very internet savvy, wants to be a filmmaker, has produced many feature films completely DIY, so he's very accomplished. He might be an odd one out. I don't know if there is a Seventh-day Adventist filmmaking tradition. Honestly, there's so many more Protestant films than Catholic films, or so it seems. But we did watch this delightful film called A Brand New Kitchen that was one of my favorite films we watched in the entire year and was like a very devoutly Catholic film.
Yeah, it was. It was Catholic through and through. And it was pretty delightful. I enjoyed it quite a bit. Some good song and dance numbers in there. From our leads who were definitely not gay and just trying to be good to their wives or wives to be.
Yeah.
By providing kitchens. That's the way to every woman's heart.
Yes, the way to a man's heart is through his stomach, and the way to a woman's heart is through the kitchen. Or so we learned from A Brand New Kitchen. This film that we love this year. But yeah, I don't know exactly why it is that Protestants are really like the biggest filmmakers of all the the major Christian traditions. This is totally just a speculative theory, but like I don't know, maybe because again Catholicism is so beholden to tradition, they don't feel the need to express themselves with a film object quite so much because they already have so much history of like art. I don't know. Whereas Protestants, they're always breaking new ground. They're always fucking taking their whole family across the country. Like our favorite filmmaking family, the Wrights, who we've talked about for many hours on Boys Bible Study. They were fucking walking around the whole country looking for an old church to buy and create their own church. And Catholics just don't do that.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you pick up the pace, y'all? Come on.
Yeah. I want to see some more Catholic exploration this year. Yeah. Come on.
You can go Jason Campbell mode and put like 7 movies on Tubi this year.
Yes. Yeah. I want to see Catholic art. I would love to hear more from them. We'll also try to do our due diligence and, research more and try to get some more, by Catholic for Catholic films on the podcast. It's hard not to want to give Catholics a little, punch in the arm to get them going, making more films when we have prolific Protestant filmmakers such as Jason Campbell, who in the year 2021 alone put out how many goddamn movies?
I don't know, but we covered 4 of them.
He's got so many movies. I'm subscribed to JC Films newsletter.
Oh, cool.
I get an email like every fucking day almost.
Wow.
From that guy promoting movies.
Wow.
He's
What's he
working.
up to? What's coming out next?
Thing is called JC Films.
Yeah, Jason Campbell.
Okay, well, I'm having a hard time finding any of his emails in my inbox right now.
Oh, that's
I think
fine.
that's because I immediately delete all of them after the first 2 weeks of receiving them incessantly. But here we go. Kick off the year strong, January 2nd. He's really riding this being a friend of Dean Cain thing.
Really?
He's got like pictures of Dean Cain in his Superman outfit on his newsletter.
Oh my God, he's still pushing the Dean Cain connection.
The first thing on here is it says, "Help us make more faith films." It's got a picture of Dean Cain as Superman. And then a quote from Dean Cain: "JC Films is telling Christian stories that may never be told. That's why I'm a part of JC Film Studios." It's like an ad to sign up for JC Films streaming service.
Whoa,
He's got his own streaming service?
Wow.
Oh, yeah. Available on Apple TV, Roku, Fire TV, and Google Chrome I think that's
Okay.
Chrome TV or something.
I will definitely be adding that to Roku. That is great news.
Yeah.
Fantastic news. But yeah, we actually became familiar with Jason Campbell. I believe it was our second year as a show. We covered his film, The Man Who Went to Heaven. But when we enjoyed that film so much and we saw that he had a huge catalog, one that it would take us a long time. I mean, we could just do a podcast about him, basically. But, you know, we have quite a lot of other films we want to cover. Still, we dedicated 4 weeks out of our year, basically an entire month out of our 2023, just watching Jason Campbell films. The 4 we watched this year: Nun Nancy, The Story of Mother's Day, The Notebooks, and Halloween Heroes. And those films were all from 2021. And what's that, boys? I'm hearing a transmission. They're actually going to give out a pre-show red carpet Golden Calf Award right now.
What?
That's right.
Is that allowed?
It is allowed.
Unprecedented.
It's unprecedented, but it's happening right now. And the category is Best 2021 Jason Campbell Movie. The nominees are, and reminder, we are the judges ourselves. We will negotiate with each other live on the podcast to pick collectively. We must agree on the winner of the Golden Calf Award. The 4 nominees are all directed by Jason Campbell. Nun Nancy, the story of a nun who becomes a bartender to spread the word. The Story of Mother's Day, a story about a group of high school kids putting on a play about the origin of Mother's Day. The Notebooks, a story of a man with pretty hardcore dementia who has to write everything down in notebooks in order to make his way through the world. And finally, Halloween Heroes, a kids movie about, I believe, Christian Halloween costumes that grant them immense power, if I'm remembering correctly. 4 very different films by a prolific director, Jason Campbell. How do we vote? What is the winner of the Golden Calf Award? Does anyone have a pick?
Personally, just to start the discussion, I got to go with Nun Nancy.
Very interesting. What makes you say that?
Because there will be no sex in the champagne room. How many other movies can you say that about?
It was the only Christian movie we've ever seen that has confronted the reality of the champagne room.
That's true. Man, Nun Nancy was definitely up there for me. Top 2. I think it's between that and Halloween Heroes for me.
Okay, interesting.
I liked the sheer enthusiasm of Halloween Heroes and all the kids working together. It was a little convoluted. Yeah, I'm going to go Nun Nancy.
Well, I am excited to say Nun Nancy was also in my top 2. I will say the other one in my top 2, my tie with Nun Nancy, is The Notebooks. I just thought the storytelling of that film was bizarre and incredible, and just the very scary scenes where he was just like blithely watching a TV that was only playing television static.
Yeah.
Added an elements of horror to a otherwise wholesome Christian tale. But being that all of us had Nun Nancy either in the top or second place, I would say that by committee decision, the Golden Calf Award for Best 2021 Jason Campbell film is Nun Nancy.
Nice.
Congratulations to all involved in that production. Well deserved.
It really had it all. It was bizarre, shocking. You know, I was a little. I'm not gonna lie. I was pretty affected by when Nun Nancy was killed.
I know. Yeah. I couldn't believe
I did not expect that to happen.
Me too. No, it was a very moving story, and she acted in it very well. We have her. Spoiler alert: she's one of our best actor nominees. Sharon Lanier. Sharon Lanier. So sorry if I didn't say your name right, but she was a really good actor. still very exciting. I do want to point out another director whose work we ended up spending quite a lot of time with, who came out of nowhere, but the second half of our 2023 was all about talking about them. Tijadine Rowley, the director of the Unequally Yoked trilogy.
Yes.
Unequally Yoked, I mean, we don't need to tread a ton of old ground because we just did all those episodes pretty recently, or at least we just did a Bell Family Christmas recently, but like that was, I think, one of our biggest discoveries of the year. It was something like I didn't realize how much I liked it until I began singing the theme song once per week doing chores around my house.
Be not unequally yoked.
So just listen to the words I say. So good. It comes up all the time for me. But yeah, what's our roundup thoughts on the Unequally Yoked franchise?
Bring back Cedric. I'm gonna need a fourth one. We talked about this. We're gonna have a 4th of July Bell Family movie, and you need to bring back real Cedric and acknowledge that you had the wrong Cedric.
Now, I would say by the weight of this piece of cake, it's about 650 calories. But that's with the icing. So if you were to, take the icing off,
That's the best part.
then that's about 450.
I completely agree. I have a We at Boys Bible Study. We have a check written, but the dollar amount is left blank. Okay, we've already signed the check. The dollar amount is blank, and that check is available to the original actor who plays Cedric in the first 2 Unequally Yoked movies. We need you back, okay? In order to make, we're hoping there's going to be an Unequally Yoked 4, okay? But it's got to be done our way. That being said, a very, very well done DIY Christian franchise about the Bell family. We most recently covered A Bell Family Christmas. So yeah, I would say Jason Campbell and Tijadine Rowley were probably our most prolific director watches this year. But just again, finishing up some of our discussion of big motifs from the year. We actually dipped, and it pains me to say this, although it's kind of good we're, researching the enemy here to be stronger against it. We delved into the New Age quite a bit this year, specifically The Secret.
Something frowned upon by Doreen Virtue. We also ended up, I feel like we did the right thing because we could have gotten caught up in the power and the magic of The Secret. Never being wrong again sounds pretty good.
It really does.
The dark art of manifesting.
Yeah, the dark art of manifesting.
Right. And but it's fortunate for us that we had, a church elder, a sort of guiding light who pulled us back when we were about to get in a little too deep. And that, of course, is Doreen Virtue. She is a very prolific, famous New Age author who recently, and within the past decade, had a big change of heart, converted to Christianity, and being the schemer that she is, of course, just pivoted her career as a public persona into being a very aggressive born again Christian who now preaches Christianity just as hard as she pushed the New Age in her past. One
of the very few success stories of artists who pivot to Christianity and make more money doing so.
Yeah, you don't. Definitely not something you see every day ever.
We've seen many a warning tale of that essentially being career ending.
Yeah. Oh no, don't convert to Christianity. No one will like that.
We appreciate her grift extra though, because she's Bible based. And
Yes.
not just Bible based, it's like based too.
Yeah.
Bible
Yes.
based.
And the fact is, so we watched, we spent some time with Doreen Virtue. We did an episode on her. We also did 2 episodes about The Secret. One about the original 2006 documentary that launched The Secret into its public consciousness, based on a book that the book probably did that more so, but the documentary was also very well watched and influential. And then for some fucking reason in 2020, they're making a movie version of The Secret with like big Hollywood actors. And we watched a film this year called, in 2023, we watched a film called The Secret, Dare to Dream.
Who was the star of that? Was that Mandy Moore?
Katie Holmes.
It was Katie Holmes. Yeah.
And Josh Lucas.
Yes. And that just blew my mind that such a film existed. It's like, I mean, listen, as Scott said, the power of The Secrets, or at least the appeal of The Secret, is like very easy to understand. It's like religion without any of the study or work. And it's easy and fun, and it promises you literally infinite money. It's like going into The Sims 1 and typing Rosebud, ! Exclamation point, exclamation point, for hours until you could just buy everything you wanted in the game. That's what The Secret is.
And it's pretty wild to finally watch that documentary after, I remember when it came out and like having friends, having peers who were like telling me like, oh, I just watched The Secret and it changed my life. Like finally seeing that moment where the guy manifests an elephant in his house.
Incredible.
And thinking like, this is what people were watching that changed their life.
Yeah. I mean, think of the possibilities. And they explore those possibilities in The Secret, Dare to Dream. Remember when Josh Lucas, a practicer of the dark art of The Secret, shows up to their home and is like, what do you really want? And they're like, we really want pizza. And then like the doorbell rings a moment later and the pizza shows up.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what they're pushing. No, I think that it's funny to look back on it. It wasn't that long ago, 2006, almost 20 years, but still it's a blip in the radar of time and culture. And it's funny to see how influential that was, because I feel like watching it now, it is so immediately creepy and off-putting and bogus.
Yeah. It's also very funny that a huge self-help book about mentally manifesting material wealth came out 2 years before the greatest economic collapse in human history.
And then in 2020, before another huge wealth transfer from basically every person in the world to the super rich, which that one. I mean, that movie was probably in pre-production for a while.
This is the greatest economic forecaster. Is if a movie based on The Secret comes out, you better fucking start putting your cash in a mattress.
Yeah, you better start like It's a Wonderful Lifestyle, like doing a bank run in midwinter, because like your shit is going bye, son. Your money's growing wings. So yeah, the Secret was a very fun exploration this year, and The Secret, Dare to Dream again was one of our newest films that we watched. It was made in 2020, and we were talking on the phone earlier today, and Scott pointed out to me, I believe in our podcast history, 2023 was the year when we spent the most time watching films of the past couple years. I don't even think we realized we were doing it, but a large amount of our films, I would say like a quarter of our films. Wait, actually, I literally have the stats here. Well, not the exact stats, but more than a quarter. I would say like between a third and a half of our films we watched this year were made in the years 2020 through 2023. All those Jason Campbell films, all those Unequally Yoked films. We watched some brand new ones like Jingle Smells and Gwen Shamblin Starving for Salvation. They're actually a very diverse group of films, but like as a podcast and as like experts and trend forecasters in the Christian film genre, what do we think stylistically is happening recently? Is there anything we can pin down and say like this is what it means to make a Christian film in 2023 and beyond?
I think people are getting a little more conspiratorial.
Yeah. I would say that I think that is definitely true. And I mean, Left Behind Rise of the Antichrist was a huge, installment in that. I mean, we didn't even watch Sound of Freedom, mind you, this year. There were some, Christian themed movies making big moves in the press and even in the box office. I would say just looking at a lot of the films we watched, I think that like what I learned from the movies of the past couple of years is that like the DIY digital film auteur is alive and well. Like there is, I do not predict any shortage of these films in the years to come. If auteurs like Jason Campbell have anything to do about it, we're seeing people who are taking it upon themselves, as Jason Campbell does, to tell stories that they don't think are ever going to be told. Whether or not that's true, all of these individuals are acting together and like generating huge amounts of content. And I guess that's like, it's pretty vague, but I guess my only prediction of what's to come is like way more Christian movies from Christian film auteurs. I do not think the genre is dying at all.
No, the technology is more accessible than ever. And people are out there doing stuff, out there making things. And I think, well, a lot of people were scared inside during the pandemic, like me. A lot of Christian filmmakers just went outside and made films.
Yeah, I think it really did. And yeah, these are feature films too, mind you. These are films that even though some of them are kind of deranged in their method of storytelling, they are very beholden to the classic structure of the Hollywood films that people love. And I guess maybe I'll even update my prediction to say that like even though Christian films, some of them did well in the box office, it's hard for me to, I know they were happening, but it's hard for me to pinpoint an epicenter of like, production companies or corporations cashing in on Christian films. It's definitely happening. I feel like the real heat is coming from the everyman, from the auteur nowadays. Gone are the days of the Kirk Camerons and the Kendricks and things like that. And here to stay are the days of the Tubi generation,
Yes. The new Tidjadine Rowleys out there.
We want to find them. If you have a tip for us, please send it our way. I'm sorry, I sometimes have trouble checking all of our messages, but like we do really appreciate your recommendations. And so please let us know if there's a voice you want us to cover. But I would say that was a decent overview of our 2023 films. Guys, I was wondering if we wanted to take a little break and come back here and start giving out some of these golden calves.
Yeah, let's do it. I'm going to get some water.
Yeah, let's do it. I'm going to turn your water into wine, my friend. Say, should we give out these calves?
Yeah.
Calves?
We
Everybody
should.
Ready?
Once again, we've melted down all our precious metals together to form them into golden
Can't take it
calves
with
to
you.
give out. That's true.
What was the story in the Bible of I might have been the book of Daniel. I'm going to remind myself right now, where they have the feast where they praise the gods of gold and silver, and then like a mysterious hand comes out and writes something scary on the wall, and they all freak out.
Oh yeah, I forgot
That was
about
one of my
that
favorite.
story.
I think that's the book of Daniel. Let me just confirm this really quick, because that I remember I saw like an animation based on that when I was a kid, and it like freaked me the fuck out.
Cool.
But let me just quick. Yes, it was the book of Daniel. Daniel 5:4. Let me read the whole chapter. NIV. Blah blah blah. The writing on the wall. King Belshazzar gave a great banquet. Blah blah blah. As they drank the wine, they praised the gods of gold and silver, of bronze, iron, wood, and stone. Suddenly, the fingers of a human hand appeared and wrote on the plaster of the wall near the lampstand in the royal palace. The king watched the hand as it wrote. His face turned pale, and he was so frightened that his legs became weak and his knees were knocking. Isn't that awesome? And then he summons all the enchanters, astrologers, and diviners, and they can't read it. But then I believe Daniel reads it. That's like the story of Daniel. He's able to. God gives him the gift of like prophecy. That's
The
one of my
gift of
favorite
literacy.
books.
Oh,
Yeah.
they're all like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
I can read. Sure.
The gift of media literacy. He's the one who first told them, no, you're not supposed to think the guy from Taxi Driver is a good guy. No, you're not supposed to relate to the Joker. Okay, this is what Daniel said to King Belshazzar. You're missing the point by idolizing King Belshazzar. That's what Daniel told them. But we are, I know it's hard to. I mean, awards really are graven images. They really are idols.
Yes.
That we worship in culture, and I hope it's clear to everyone listening that the Golden Calves. This is a parody. Okay, we're shining a light on how absurd it is that spiritual concepts can be, nailed down, melted down like gold, turned into golden calves. It's very cutting satire that we're doing here. But let's give out these damn awards. That's what I say.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. I'm gonna reopen this on my phone here. So we have come up with Scott and I have come up with a couple really fun categories that will give us an opportunity to talk about our favorite films of the year, hopefully in some fun combinations. And of course, the three of us together are going to judge and give out the awards, and it has to be a unanimous agreement that comes from discussion. That's the rules. The first category, obviously, we're leading up to the Best Actor, Picture, and Director awards at the end of the ceremony. But the first category, Best Sorbo Movie of 2023. This is the best film that we at Boys Bible Study watched in 2023 that features an appearance, in any type of role, could be a cameo, supporting, lead, by Kevin Sorbo. And this is, of course, in victorious celebration of the fact that we as a podcast did our first ever repertory IRL film screening in 2023 at the American Cinematheque when we watched the Kevin Sorbo picture, Let There Be Light. One of our biggest accomplishments as a show. I am so proud that we were able to do that.
Yeah, me too. That was nice.
Yeah.
I got to have my
It was a lot of
face all
fun.
big on the screen like Mike Huckabee.
Like
Yeah.
Zardoz.
Let us all in prayer.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. And
It was a good time.
it really was. And I mean, part of the reason it was such a good time was because it was rare. Like, I've had a couple people ask us, like, oh, you should do those monthly. And it's like, that would be really fun on some level. But like, it was so special because, it came together in such a big way. That being said, it was fun. Hope we
And who
would
can forget
totally
the
do another.
controversy?
Oh, teach the controversy. That's what I say. because we attracted a little media attention when we announced the screening, and many people from the Los Angeles film scene and beyond literally called us Nazis. So, just something to chew on. If you're gonna have a podcast that puts on film screenings, you have to be ready for any kind of criticism. But this is our favorite Kevin Sorbo movie of 2023, and the Golden Calf nominees are Left Behind: Rise of the Antichrist, 2023. Directed by Kevin Sorbo.
Yeah, I think so.
Sure was.
Yeah, that's what Scott wrote down here. I just forgot that. Okay, well, what do you know? Starring and directed by Kevin Sorbo. The second nominee, Spirit of the Game, 2016 film, directed by Darren Scott. That's the one with the Australian Christian basketball, the Mormon basketball team, right?
That's right.
Okay,
yeah,
that's what I thought. And Kevin Sorbo plays the main character's wise father,
who says, "Let the kids play ball," famously in the movie. And then later tells them to shut up and dribble.
That sounds like you and Julian when you're watching the game.
Yeah.
I always hear when I'm at Julian's place and got the Clippers game on, he's always saying, "Let the kids play ball."
I got a lot of money riding on these games. I need these kids to play ball.
Yeah. Yeah, somehow all the Patreon money just goes to zero right away. It's very bizarre, but hey, whatever.
But sometimes it gets repaid twofold.
Wow, yes. That is very marvelous when that happens. The third nominee, What If... 2010 film directed by Dallas Jenkins. What is that film? I completely fucking forgot what that movie is.
That was with the train station, remember?
Okay, accepting for the moment the ridiculous notion that you are an angel. What is this? What's Wendy doing here? Why does everyone act like they know me?
Oh, it's simple. It's called The Great What If.
What if?
Yeah, see, every now and then he chooses someone to re-examine their life. What if you had said yes instead of no? What if you had made different decisions? What if the Lord was calling and you answered the call? And what if, you followed God's plan for your life instead of your own?
Well, apparently I would be a second-rate preacher at a third-rate church in Clearville.
I don't
Kevin
remember
Sorbo
anything else.
The alternate timeline movie.
He goes to an alternate timeline.
Kevin Sorbo.
He's a hillbilly.
He's a rich, maybe atheist. He's got a hot girlfriend, and he closes a deal. He's doing good, and then his car breaks down, and he wakes up in an alternate timeline because God's trying to teach him what it would be like to be a wholesome family man and why that would be better.
John Ratzenberg was the angel that punches him in the head.
Yep.
Over repeatedly.
Yep.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And the final nominee, 2015 film by Chip Rossetti, One More Round. One more round. Boxing's got me feeling so free.
God gives us abilities, and he expects us to use them. We live in a fallen world. God needs warriors, businessmen, athletes, as much as he needs ministers, maybe even more so.
It's Chip Rossetti's boxing film, where I believe Kevin Sorbo plays the main character's coach.
Yeah. The main character's uncle, who runs the gym and also coaches.
And that film is also important in our repertoire because it co-stars Donald James Parker, a.k.a. Gramps, who surprisingly I didn't have to look up his name. I just know that one off the top of my head because I love Gramps so much.
What movie was this? I remember it, but I don't know
the boxing movie.
I 100% remember.
Yeah, it's the one where he's a furniture salesman.
And Franco Columbo's in it. The old bodybuilder.
Columbo
it was his final film. Was his final film.
What the fuck was the point of that movie?
It doesn't matter. It's just that it passed the time. That was the point.
Yeah.
What do we think, guys? Let me know if you need me to repeat any of those. But we have 4 Sorbo films, which one was the best Sorbo movie of 2023 in a boys' Bible study? Does anyone have a pick?
Well, first thing I gotta say, Left Behind: Rise of the Antichrist fucking sucked. So that one's right out.
It really, we've said this before, it depressed me for 2 days. And I think Julian had a similar thing. I was literally in a malaise for 48 full hours after watching that movie. Sorry to cut you off, Scott.
And there was that narration with the weird reverb in it the whole time. Very bizarre.
Yeah, that was cool.
Very strange.
For me, it's between What If and One More Round.
Yeah.
What If, the Big Pure Flicks movie, directed by Dallas Jenkins. And I love a alternate timeline movie. But just bringing up One More Round again, thinking about Donald James Parker, Franco Columbu, how goofy that thing was. Like, which one am I going to watch again sooner? I'm going to have to go One More Round. Chip Rossetti's One More Round.
You know, Scott, am going to have to agree with you. I would say of all the films, that was the most fun and compelling to me. If I had to pick a second place, you know what? I think I would vote the same way you did, Scott. I'm going to say One More Round's number 1, What If number 2. Those are my picks. What do you think, Julian?
Well, I'm going to have to take your guys' word for it. I can only assume that One More Round was would be as impactful to me had I remembered any of it as it is to you two who do remember it. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm going to go One More Round.
One More Round. Congratulations to director Chip Rossetti and the cast, including Franco Columbu, Kevin Sorbo, Donald James Parker, and everybody involved for your Golden Calf Award for Best Sorbo Movie of 2023. Fantastic news. On to the next category. Okay. This is the best family film by families for families. Okay. So to qualify for a nomination in this category, this film should be one that you can watch with the whole family, and it has to represent the filmic output of a very creative family. And the nominees are My Grandpa Detective, 2016, directed by Dallas Lammerman and written by his brother Greg Lammerman, co-written, I believe.
Where are you going, Bob?
Anywhere but here. You just watch. I'm gonna be somebody. I'm gonna do things you never thought I could do.
Dad, where are you going?
Look, Bobby, here's my yo-yo. When you use it, remember that I'm coming back for you, okay?
Grandpa? Why did he make Daddy go?
Bobby,
Daddy.
Here's my yo-yo.
Where are you going?
I'm coming back for you, okay?
Don't go, Daddy.
I'll be back.
Don't go, Daddy. Why did he make Daddy go, Grandpa?
Coming back for you.
Don't go.
Second nominee, The Defense of New Haven, 2016 film directed by Joel Steege, which famously stars all of the Steege kids, some of whom are as young as like fucking 6 or 7 years old. It is a steampunk Christian film casted entirely by kids wearing fake mustaches. The third nominee, Eminon. I don't believe Julian watched this one, but this is a fantastic 1987 family film directed by Stuart Paul, in which we learned about the antics of the Paul family. Right?
Yeah.
Scott?
Yeah, that's true. Uh-huh.
The Paul family. They have quite a lot of lore that is, you'll have to listen to our episode about it where we cover it. But they are a family that has an extremely prolific output that spans multiple members and multiple generations. The final film in this category, Civil War Saint, the 2022 film directed by Ashley Hayes Wright, starring the Wright family, who we've covered extensively on the show, in a Civil War story featuring a lovable Saint Bernard as a new cast member. We had our good friend Brian Kammerer on to watch that film with us. It was a really fun time. All right, boys. 4 solid nominees. Best family film. What are we thinking?
I want to give it to In Defense of New Haven. Simply because of the jealousy I felt watching the making of and just seeing what the experience, the filmmaking experience these kids got to do. They got to see, like, they were very hands-on with the construction of the set, and it didn't really feel like exploitative to me. It looked like a lot of fun. It looked like they had a lot of fun doing it. It was funny that they seemingly got the money from a person crashing his car into their family vehicle when it was parked in their driveway.
Good for them.
But it also gave a lot of vibes of like the family already had money and was able to do all these things, which makes me want to, give it to the. I think I got to go with the Hayes Wright family again because, they don't come from much. They fumbled the bag many times. The two of them at one point were the entirety of one small town's police force, and they were removed from power. And through it all, they've never abandoned their love of filmmaking and family. So I got to give it to the GOATs, the Hayes Wright family.
Wow.
Interesting.
Yeah, very interesting.
I can be swayed.
Can we offer you a Saint Bernard puppy?
The Wrights are definitely my favorite family in this list. I'm kind of leaning towards My Grandpa Detective right now. I gotta say, I really enjoyed it.
Recency bias.
It is partially recency bias. Also, the Lammy Mans employ not just fellow Lammy Mans, but other families. There's a couple other multiple names, last names in the movie, so I like that too.
The family multiplier.
Although all 4 of these movies are about families and for families, ultimately different types of families. My Grandpa Detective really that is the movie.
Well, are we rating the movie or are we rating the family that made the movie?
It's hard. It's a multidisciplinary category.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, I would accept many different criteria. It's personal to us.
Yeah. So I have a bias towards Civil War Saint, and I did enjoy Civil War Saint. But I'm going to say My Grandpa Detective. That was my favorite of these 4 movies.
Very, very interesting. I gotta say, from the beginning, my top pick in this category, based on its very meticulous production design and sheer ambition, even though it did make me want to claw out my eyes while I was watching it, the first thing that popped into my head was The Defense of New Haven. I just think that it shows a degree of ambition and competence that I want to commend in award show season. But was it when I was talking about that, I realized how much I wrote in my notes. I literally I can visualize my notes in my head because I'm a very text thinker. I'm a textual thinker. And I remember multiple times in my notes I wrote, "Why are we watching this?" Not because it didn't apply to the podcast. It fit perfectly. It was why am I spending my time doing this? I think that was really what I was kind of blown away with by watching that movie.
Wow.
This is so tough, you guys. I feel like my vote has the power to give it to either My Grandpa Detective or Civil War Saints. Just by the fact that, we're a group of 3 here. Of the 2, I'm just going to go with my heart, you guys. By votes, the winner of Best Family Film by Families for Families, congratulations, to the Lammerman family, My Grandpa Detective.
Ooh.
Wow.
I would say that's my second favorite in the category, and by adding up the points between the three of us, it is the winner. So I
Congrats.
salute you, Lammerman family, and we humbly await your next ventures. Of course, we also love their films Mayflower 2 and Remember. So this is just, this is let's just say this is an investment in a relationship between our family and yours. Congrats on your Golden Calf Award. The next category, Scott, I'm gonna skip up a little bit to another, pre big award, a more specific category. This is the award for best end times movie. All right. Ooh. This is a film about the end times, which, as we said before, is a very popular Christian movie trope, Christian movie theme. But we watched many movies that covered it in very singular and impressive ways this year. And the nominees for Golden Calf Award for Best End Times Movie are Leap, 2010, directed by Chris Temple. The Christian parkour film that was also literally the most homophobic film we've ever watched. Somehow. The second nominee, The Day of the Beast, El Dia de la Bestia. I do not think Julian watched this one. We watched this with our friend Bruce Longo. This is a 1995 film directed by Alex de la Iglesia.
I watched that one.
No, Julian watched that one.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
That one was awesome.
I'm mixing up a different one.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So we've all seen all of them. Very good. Okay, the third nominee, A Thief in the Night, the 1972 film directed by Donald W. Thompson. We talked about this one at the beginning of the show. Finally, representing the Left Behind franchise, our favorite of the three, Left Behind 3, A World at War, 2005, directed by Craig R. Baxley.
Remember what Bruce told us on our wedding? We can't die until God says it's time.
Right. That was so romantic.
I could start with mine. If that'll go. Okay. I'm really torn between these two. It's going to be hard to pick. On one hand, The Day of the Beast is probably one of the most interesting films we've ever watched for the show. I thought it was remarkable, and I don't think it's well known enough in the United States. I mean, it was brand new to me, and I really think more people should know about it. It was definitely not one of the, it's not a film by Christians for Christians. It is a secular film, actually a very blasphemous one at times, but it still had like a lot of heart and a very interesting take on religion. Very interesting. That being said, A Thief in the Night, is almost just as interesting as a film. And it's also, just so compelling, so well shot. Contains the song I Wish We'd All Been Ready. Was responsible for, single-handedly responsible for many religious millennials, spiritual trauma. And I tend to favor giving awards to ones that were made by Christians for Christians. It's not required, but that's just my bias. That leads me to pick A Thief in the Night as my first choice and Day of the Beast as number 2. That's my thinking.
Yeah, I could agree with you. I'll probably flip them just because I really liked Day of the Beast. But I agree. It is essentially a secular movie. Although I think it had some very, very thought-provoking things to say about the nature of evil and the Antichrist.
Yes,
for sure.
And what forms that may take in reality.
Yeah.
But yeah, Thief in the Night, that's, goated.
It's true. Yeah, I loved how rooted in end times philosophy Day of the Beast was. Like, they really stuck to it. Like, the priest is really, he's priesting it up the whole time. He's got something in his head and he's on a mission. He's doing it seriously.
Yes.
And Left Behind 3 is really fun. A lot of explosions in that.
Yeah, it's the best Left Behind, in my opinion.
Leap also
I loved Leap.
Just totally ridiculous, like show to the homies.
Yeah. I mean, we posted that clip of them talking while having a couple's argument while doing parkour over a bike rack over and over again. And it was like one of our most popular posts from the entire year. It seems like it really took on a life of its own.
Really resonated with people.
Yeah, it did. It is a really crazy and singular Christian film.
All that said, though, I am gonna have to go with The Thief in the Night. It almost seems like too obvious, but like it's just so important. And
yeah,
even by the end of the movie, the main character is like already second guessing her own faith, which is like such a huge problem with end times philosophy that has kind of, especially with millennials, being like, I better just recommit again just in case.
Yep, just in case the end times happens. Exactly.
Pretty cool to get that special kind of anxiety going.
Yep.
I got to give an honorable mention to Left Behind 3, though. Just solely for being a movie where like the president is like the one hero who can save everybody. That just is so funny to me. To imagine any president like engaging in hand-to-hand combat with people. It's so funny.
A better depiction of our current American presidency from a film we watched this year is probably Our Father's Keeper from 2022. About a man with dementia who escapes on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, we considered having a Most Forgetful Grandpa award, but then we're like, well, we already know who won, so why bother?
Yeah, right, exactly. He was a shoo-in. It wouldn't have been very good television. Let's call it. I think that A Thief in the Night, 1972, deserves the award for best end times movie. I think decades of Christian film tradition agree with us on that. And it's beloved for a reason. It's a really powerful film. So congratulations to director Donald W. Thompson and everyone involved and everyone who recommended that we watch it, because it was very, very eye-opening for us. And speaking of eye-opening, our next category, the final of the specialty categories before we move into the big three awards. Okay. The Golden Calf Award for the most eye-opening film of 2023. This is a film that by watching it, it changed our perspective in a crucial way that will cause us to never be the same. All right. So we're judging the film quality and we're judging it for what it taught us. All right. The nominees are Amazing Ape 2016, directed by Giuliano.
You seem really sad. I've had some hard times, to say the least. Albert's sick. He has cancer and it's spread. He's gonna die.
Miranda, listen closely to me. There's a way to fully regenerate his body in 6 months. No dangerous procedures, just yoga and raw food.
Okay, this is a film about an ape who teaches us that we can cure all diseases by eating raw honey and bananas. And it was dead serious. Second nominee, The Secret, 2006, directed by Drew Harriet, a documentary explaining how you too can manifest the elephant of your dreams, if only you just believe. The third nominee, Elijah's Secrets, 2016, directed by Casey Harmberg. And his brother, whose name I'm blanking on, is very involved in the film, another brother's film. The film that introduced us to the concept of the so-called Black Pope and to the Jesuit infiltration of Protestant churches. Finally, Saving Christmas, a.k.a. Kirk Cameron's Saving Christmas, 2014, directed by Darren Doan. This is the film that taught us that Santa is literally Jesus, and it's sacrilegious to not celebrate Christmas the way that we were taught. That was a lot of, ego death and, putting ourselves back together. I found many of my preconceptions about the world were shattered this year. But what do we think? What film opened our eyes in 2023?
I'm gonna give my vote to what was it called? Amazing Ape.
Amazing Ape.
Yeah, that just I feel like that really opened the door for ape movies for us.
Oh man, did it ever?
I mean, I know you've been on this for a while, Scott, but I think that really marked a turning point for the podcast.
Yep.
And probably my all-time favorite scene of the year was the FBI agent saying the Pledge of Allegiance during the climactic scene to de-escalate the situation, and everybody kind of just ignored him.
Yeah. Amazing Ape is pretty amazing. That's the thing.
Really
also, wasn't there some stuff in there where we couldn't tell when it was a real monkey and when it was a guy in a monkey suit?
I think
misremembering?
Overall, it became clear that it was an actor in a monkey suit.
Yeah.
But it was very ambiguous at times, even though it was also very uncanny at other times.
Yeah.
But no, it was incredible for so many reasons. One, we learned about how, they suppress our cure. Like, you can literally cure cancer by eating, carrots and celery. And all food, any food that is heated up, releases toxins. And, but also, like, there was this bizarre, like, sexual tension between the little kids. And just this, like, the bizarre stories of, like, God, the cruel, like, chimp medical experiments. Oh my God, it was just crazy, man. I could watch that movie again and again.
It's a really good movie.
It is. Yeah. I mean, to, segue into my pick, I'm like straight up a tie between that one and Elijah's Secret for me. Elijah's Secret was just like, I mean, I think about it all the time, and everything from just like the visual style to the casting. I'll never forget the scene of the secret meeting between like the top. I can't remember if it was like FBI agents or whatever, another FBI agent film, where like it was like 5 people in a church, and one of them was wearing like the Beatles shirt, and one of them was wearing a fedora, and then the Jesuit priest stood up there and levitated them.
Yeah.
Like that is like the scene of dreams. It is like a dead tie for me between Amazing Ape and Elijah's Secret. We also have a vote from Julian for Amazing Ape. It goes to you, Scott. What are you thinking for your pick?
Well, I love Amazing Ape. It's very, very fun, and I will watch it multiple times more in the future, undoubtedly.
Yes.
But as far as most eye-opening goes, like that really did like the whole like Catholic conspiracy and Elijah's Secret. I was like, all right, what are y'all talking about? Like that did open a can of worms for me. And I know for both of you as well.
It really did.
So, for that reason and the reasons you just said, Ash, with the amazing effects and just like, okay, this movie was mostly shot on an iPhone and edited on free software because the 2 brothers who made it were like this. We have to get this message out. This is the best way to do it. And they did it. I'm going to have to give it to Elijah's Secret.
Yeah, I want to change my vote to Elijah's Secret because I was watching a video of a guy making a burger while you were going through the nominees. And all I remembered was Amazing Ape. So I totally forgot about Elijah's Secret. That movie was awesome. Also forgot that we spent the first 10 minutes of this podcast talking about how I'm obsessed with the anti-pope from Elijah's Secret.
Yeah. Brother Scott, your testimony has swayed us. I think unanimously the winner for most eye-opening film of 2023 from Boys Bible Study, Elijah's Secret. Congratulations to the Hornberg brothers in your wonderful achievement. And I honestly want to rewatch it soon. Maybe I'll get a group together. That would be so much fun. Well, with that, we're in the home stretch here, guys. And for everyone listening who is waiting with bated breath to find out who are the real big winners of the Golden Calf Awards, let's get there, guys. Okay. What should we do first? Best director or best actor? How is it normally done? Is it actor, director, then picture?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's do it that way. Here are the nominees for the best actor in a Christian film among the ones that Boys Bible Study covered in 2023. The Golden Calf Award nominees for best actor: John Schneider in To Die For, 2022. Now, he also acted very admirably in Jingle Smells 2023. I don't want to add more variables to the pick here, but I'm going to say he's nominated specifically for To Die For 2022. That was his best performance. Second nominee, Jennifer Grey, who acted extremely well in the Lifetime movie Gwen Shamblin Starving for Salvation, which is Lifetime's biopic on the diet cult Christian preacher Gwen Shamblin Lara, who perished in a plane crash recently. The third nominee, Link Lindquist, who plays the lead in Our Father's Keeper 2020 film. He is the one who plays the granddad, or the father, in that film, who is a high-powered businessman until he suffers from early onset dementia and spends an exciting Thanksgiving wandering away from his home when his vaping son leaves the door unlocked. The third nominee, Sharon Lanier, for her lead role in Nun Nancy, a film that has already received a Golden Calf Award in the pre-show awards for Best Jason Campbell Film from 2021. But now its actress, Sharon Lanier, is nominated. Finally, our final nomination for Best Actor, Anne-Marie Ryan, for her role in Not Broken 2021. This is a Lauren Havel film about a dyslexic girl who has to draw people's pictures on her cup at the coffee shop. I love that. That's
great.
The Havels are so fucking funny, man. That's another family film. Lauren Havel and her mama, whose name I'm blanking on, but yeah, Anne-Marie Ryan,
Mrs. Havel,
Mrs. Havel, as she's called. Here's to you, Mrs. Havel. What do we say? Anyone have a pick for Best Actor? I'm between two. I'm almost between three, but I can narrow it down to two.
All right. I thought Jennifer Grey was great as Gwen Shamblin. I thought she did a really good job. Like, really, I feel like she went into character for it more than people normally are for Lifetime biopics. God, she really nailed it. It was a great role, really elevated the movie, Gwen Shamblin Starving for Salvation. However, I am just completely fascinated still by the headshots for Link Lindquist and the name Link Lindquist as the exceptionally forgetful grandpa in Our Father's Keeper. I will be thinking about his performance until I'm just like him one day.
Yeah, until I literally can't remember his performance anymore because I'm suffering from dementia.
Right. And I am just flipping back and forth between his photos right now.
I remember that was a really fun discovery.
Headshots.
Yeah, that are both uploaded to IMDb.
I linked
fun.
it from his name, Link. I made Link a link. If you want to look at it.
Oh my God, Scott, you are such a genius. I didn't even notice that. That is text painting.
Yeah, Yeah, I'm giving it to him. He's it was an insane role.
Well, I will say I'm gonna add some. You know, I'm gonna make this a little more difficult of a choice because I will say Link is absolutely in my top 2, and you know if Julian agrees with me, then he's the winner. But I want to introduce my tied for first in my opinion with Link is John Schneider in To Die For. I just think that he inhabited. I literally. The only film we watched this year where I wanted to perform a wellness check on the lead actor because reality and fiction were blurred within the film.
God.
For me.
Yeah.
Which I cannot say about many acting performances. But I could be swayed. I'm looking through Link's photos right now, just doing what you were doing. There's so many. But those are my top 2. Honestly, I would be happy to give the award to either of those old white men. What do you think, Julian?
How do I look at these headshots?
I'll just I'll send the link to the chat. Me and Scott are looking at
the link of
the link.
The link. Yeah.
The link. Okay, I'm gonna send it to the chat. Here it is. It's coming. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to tap on the link. The link. And you're going to go there. And you're just going to hit the arrow button on his photos. And then he just does a fun little flip book. He took actor takes headshots.
Craig? Did we ever
that's the other thing
that
too.
Was the other thing.
That's the other thing too. He has like 2 identities, 2 headshots. He took the same photo like 10 years apart on the same wall for some reason. Like he has when he has a mustache. He's a very fascinating man, Link Lindquist, and he acted admirably in Our Father's Keeper. But Julian, what would you say? Who's your favorite actor?
So
in that
hard.
Yeah, it is.
Well, in his most recent movie, Fighting Chance, he is credited as Craig Lindquist.
I noticed that. Yeah.
And in Our Father's Keeper, he is credited as Craig Lindquist.
The fuck is this guy's problem?
And his IMDb page is Link Lindquist.
So who are we even nominating here?
Exactly.
Wow.
Well,
his performance goes beyond the movie.
The movie certainly wins the Golden Calf for Best Poster. The grandpa fading away in the Avengers Endgame style, while the homeless girl stands behind him smiling. The homeless girl who is shut out of the family's Thanksgiving dinner despite keeping their dementia-riddled grandfather alive in the freezing winter weather.
Yeah.
I'm going to go, because I'm not giving the Golden Calf to the movie. I'm giving it to the man.
Mm-hmm.
I got to give it to John Schneider, because that was a tour de force performance. That movie wouldn't exist without John Schneider in that role.
No, you're right.
And it's truly, truly remarkable that he is like one of the lead characters on like a long running dramatic television show, like a legitimate TV show on right now. He is one of the lead characters, and he was on Dancing with the Stars. And somehow in between those, and he threatened to kill the president online. And in the middle of all that, he managed to make this insane movie where he shoots a teenager to protect the American flag. I just found that his performance,
people, it's so funny.
I mean, his performance was the closest we've had to, Bob Revere since we started this podcast with, what the fuck was that movie called?
Oh yeah,
Last Ounce of Courage.
Last Ounce of Courage.
Right.
So I got to give it. It only once every 4 years does a performance come along like this.
I am inclined to agree with you, Julian. And so by committee vote, the Golden Calf Award winner for Best Actor in a Christian Film of the year 2023 is John Schneider. Yet another award in his illustrious career.
Wow.
And
Give this guy's fucking agent an award. I think we said this last time we reviewed a John Schneider movie, but like it is truly remarkable to me that he is like a successful working actor.
I know.
Because it seems like this is what he does when he's left to his own devices. And also his family does not speak to him.
Yeah. He's a Bob Revere man and a Bob Revere character. Like he blurs that's why I was so taken with him. He blurs the line between fiction and reality in an amazing way.
Yeah, and this is, let's not forget this movie. This doesn't influence my decision making on the award in any way, but I also want to remind everyone that this is the movie that that had the online review where the person uploaded her social security card as a product review image.
That's like when you get to be an elderly sex symbol. You know, first women throw their panties at you, and then you get to be, in your 70s, and then women throw their social security cards at you. Congratulations, Mr. Schneider. May you reign 100 more years. But we are moving into our next big category, our second to last Golden Calf Award, and the stakes are high. The Golden Calf nominees for Best Director of a Christian Film: Jason Campbell for The Notebooks. Hold on. I'm going to switch that because we've already picked that the best Jason Campbell film this year was Nun Nancy. So we're going to say that Jason Campbell is being nominated for Nun Nancy, the 2021 film. Second nominee, Tijadine Rowley, director of A Bell Family Christmas. And the other,
Unequally Yoked.
Entries in the Unequally Yoked series. Our third nominee, Stephen Grew, a director, a very prolific and well-known outsider film director, whose Christian film Challenge of Faith from 2006 is nominated in this category.
You're not being fired. If so, I would have done that through my supervisors. No. You're not being fired, Jason. You're being given the opportunity of a lifetime. You're getting a promotion. I'm making you the new acting president of this company.
I'm sorry?
That's right, Jason. President.
Is this a joke? I mean, no disrespect, but I'm a desk clerk.
And a fine one at that.
This doesn't happen in real life.
It does in this one.
And lastly, Chris Tempel, the director of Leap and Leap Rise of the Beast. Specifically, he's nominated for Leap Rise of the Beast, 2011 film. The Seventh-day Adventist parkour wunderkind, who's also delved deep into the anti-Catholic conspiracy theory genre. 4 very accomplished DIY directors here. Who is taking home the Golden Calf Award for Best Director?
There's only one for me, and it's Stephen Grew for Challenge of Faith. I think his blend of both humor and seriousness, while still making it look very almost sitcom-y in the way he filmed it, was a unique blend. I loved his use of special effects in the movie too. It's very rare where I see this type of filmmaker make themselves the star that I'm like, you were the best person to be the star in this movie.
Yes.
No offense, Neil Breen. I love seeing you. I do wonder what it would be like if you got somebody else to be the lead.
I know.
But not for Grew. Stephen Grew, I want to say he grew on me, but I loved him from the first minute on.
I completely get what you're saying here, but I'm curious to know, Julian, who is your favorite of the directors in this category?
I got to agree with Scott on this one. I'm going with the Grew. and is somewhat of a Lifetime Achievement Award, despite having only seen this one of his films.
Yeah.
But also, I feel like he captured, the essence, the weird, uncanny essence of like an FMV computer game that I love so much.
Yeah.
It made it into a enjoyable film watching experience. And yeah, I loved the special effects, the magical realism. And yeah, he, as a leading man, is just so captivating on screen. You really couldn't have anybody else play that role.
Well, gentlemen, I third that emotion because my top pick for Best Director also Stephen Grew. So congratulations, by unanimous vote, Stephen Grew, come up here to the altar and accept your Golden Calf Award for Challenge of Faith, the 2006 film. Wow, guys, that leaves us with just one more Golden Calf Award to give out this season. And it is a really special one. We had a lot of amazing films this year, ones that came out of left field, ones that opened our eyes, taught us new things, got us to see the Spirit of God in a different way. And the 4 nominees for Best Picture, I will say some of these we've mentioned already before, but only one can get the Golden Calf Award. The nominees are Elijah's Secrets, which has already taken a Golden Calf Award tonight for Most Eye-Opening Film, 2016, directed by Casey Harmberg. Secondly, To Die For, 2022, directed by John Schneider, which also has already taken a Golden Calf Award tonight for Best Actor, John Schneider. Thirdly, A Brand New Kitchen, 2019, directed by Bill McAdams. We talked about this one. Bill McAdams Jr., pardon me. This is the Catholic family drama about a kitchen renovator and his son and their adventures as a family. Some lighthearted, some very dramatic.
Sometimes I just want to shake you and wake you up. It's like you're on this conveyor belt headed for a machine that will grind you up into little pieces. And I'm on the other side of a glass wall, banging and screaming, "Get off the belt, Lenny!" I'm trying to save you, and you won't hear me.
You're so weird. You are always so weird.
Finally, the film that just a moment ago took home the Best Director Golden Calf for Stephen Grew. This is Challenge of Faith from 2006. Ooh, boy. So these are mostly films that have, we've already selected as cream of the crop ones we've watched this year. There's absolutely films can win multiple awards if they so deserve them. Of these 4 films, what are our top picks? Does anyone want to go first? I have two.
Okay.
Unless you want to go first, Scott.
Nah, go.
Let me tell you my 2 here. Okay. Elijah's Secret is definitely one of my top picks. I think that it was just like so captivating, so fun to watch. To me, it's very possible that this, it's very common that a lot of like DIY sort of conspiratorial type films are very tedious. This one was not. I really enjoyed watching it from beginning to end. It helped that it was a little shorter than feature length, but still, it was just like paced incredibly well, so creative, so funny. But my second pick is actually a film that has not yet been nominated yet in any Golden Calf category. It's A Brand New Kitchen. This film just like came out of left field for me and stunned me and proved to me that like, a Catholic musical family drama about a kitchen can be a movie that sticks with you for an entire year, because like I will just never forget the insane drama that occurs when the guy, the Mr. Kitchen, I could not remember the character's name. When he finds out that his wife had sex with with her boss like 20 years ago, and she confesses it to him in a moment of weakness, and he can't decide whether to forgive her or not. So she like runs away to a spiritual retreat and like stays in the room at a church when he has to go visit her and stuff. That was some fucking high octane family drama. I was like, wow. So those are my 2 picks. And I'm curious to hear what you guys have to say.
Those are a good 2 picks. These are 4 very good movies.
Yes,
and A Brand New Kitchen is pretty tempting. It's pretty wholesome, but also, like you said, like pretty intense family drama too for what's actually going on. And I really liked having the like strong metaphor of the kitchen, which is pretty good. Like A Brand New Kitchen is more of the message movie, the wholesome message movie to your family, to get closer, to be a better Christian, to be a better community member, a better family member, a better husband, a better father. But then Elijah's Secret has that immediacy of like, something's up and we have to do something about it. Which is, it kind of represents like the new, like A Brand New Kitchen. You're trying to uphold the Christian family home, maintain the status quo, even make it more status quo than it was before, if that's possible. And Elijah's Secret is like the new, like, this is the future. The end is coming. You better be ready. You better have your shit together and your network in order. Yeah. Really represents 2 different, a tale of 2 points of view that we covered en masse this year. Both of the points of view.
Yes.
Makes it hard to pick. Yeah, because A Brand New Kitchen had some good song and dance numbers too.
Sure did.
I mean, I got to go with Elijah's Secret. There's just there was just not a movie like that. Not another movie like that. I can see the appeal of Brand New Kitchen, and I think that's number 2 on my list because it is also a uncanny film. I know I've been saying that a lot this episode, but that's really what we look for in these in this genre. But Elijah's Secret was just like you couldn't make a movie that was that unintentionally funny if you tried, just with that cast of characters. It's like the kind of production that alt comedians have been striving for decades.
Yes.
Just done effortlessly by 2 brothers who could not look less related.
Yeah, what was up with that?
And it's just the sci-fi elements were so unexpected and just relentless from right off the bat. It was amazing. It was incredible. I got to go with Elijah's Secret.
Wow.
Yeah, you're right. You convinced me.
I agree. It was on my top 2. It was Julian's top. It was on Scott's top 2. We're all very excited about it. I think it's time to give out the award, the Golden Calf Award for Best Picture of 2023. Congratulations to the Harmberg brothers and your fantastic achievement in anti-Catholic conspiracy film for Elijah's Secret. It really is a wonderful piece. And I've got to say, I had several friends reach out to me after we released that episode saying, please link me to that movie. It's like someone I can think of told me that, like, of all the stuff that I've heard you talk about on your show, like someone who says, they don't usually watch the stuff that we watch. They just like to listen to the episodes. They said that is one of the only films I actually sought out and watched because of hearing about it on the show. I think it has a charisma and power that it goes past just a podcast review. So Elijah's Secret is in very good company. I was trying to refresh my memory of what won in previous years. I Boys Bible historians, don't be mad at me if I'm wrong. I believe A Little Piece of Heaven was our winner last year, the Kirk Cameron film. I know that Audacity, the anti-gay Ray Comfort film, was our winner. That might have been 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And yes, that was the one. And so I guess that would make one more. Yeah, so it's Elijah's Secret, A Little Piece of Heaven, Audacity, and that makes one more. I'm looking through like our first year nominees right now to try to remember.
I'm going to guess Assassin 33 AD.
I don't know if that one actually won. It might have been. We had a bunch that year. We also had Let There Be Light, and we had Believe.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah.
I can't remember. It might have been one of those that actually won that year, although I'm sure Assassin was nominated. We also had fucking The Encounter, too. I feel like Let There Be Light.
And
I feel
Penny.
like Let There Be Light won. On The Penny, dude.
Oh, Jesus.
Believe. God, I can't remember, dude. That was crazy that first year. Well, you'll have to go back and listen to that episode. But this thus concludes our Golden Calf Award ceremony. And we genuinely want to thank every one of you who listened, who's kept up with us for 4 years of episodes. I know some of you listened from the beginning, and that's amazing. So we are so grateful for your support. As always, we want to thank our patrons. If it's your first time here, go to patreon.com, or pardon me, if it's your first time here, boysbiblestudy.com is where you can get our free episodes, and patreon.com/boysbiblestudy is where you can subscribe for $5 and up to unlock all of our bonus episodes. Also, shout outs to our patron saints, our biggest supporters at the $20 tier, Nicole, Marissa, Mark, Jeff, and Rhett. Thank you very much for all your support. Our outro music is Oh My God by Mary. From all of us here at Boys Bible Study, myself, Ash, my co-hosts, Scott and Julian, we would like to say, peace be with you.
And also with you.
Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. I feel your love in me, it's coming from within. Oh my God, my devotion is so unwavering. Divine emotions when you enter me. Every day